1 in 1,250 babies born to women at age 25 are born with Down syndrome. Cassie Wright was 25 when she gave birth to her son Brett, and Jeffrey, the father, was 26. They were completely in shock when they discovered their child's condition. At Northcrest Hospital in Springfield, Tennessee, their pediatrician announced that Brett might have Down syndrome, based on the characteristics of his eyes, nose, and feet.
After being transferred to Vanderbilt Children's Hospital, Jeffrey officially learned his son's diagnosis. "I cried and wouldn't let anyone back. I told everyone to leave me alone with my son," says Jeffrey. Cassie was still at Northcrest due to complications after giving birth. "I told him I didn't care and that I still love him, and this would change nothing," says Jeffrey. He wondered what his and Brett's life would now be like.
Jeffrey says the hardest part to deal with in the first year is watching the progress of kids younger than Brett sitting up and reaching milestones. Even though Brett is in the 75th percentile for other children with Down syndrome in terms of his progress, he is in the 5th percentile compared to all children.
God and family are the two biggest things to count on, says Jeffrey. Cassie and Jeffrey were sad to know how terrified people are of Down syndrome. Their babysitter backed out on them, and friends quit coming to visit once they learned that Brett had Down syndrome.
Brett has several complications having to do with his Down syndrome. He has a bicuspid valve in his aorta instead of a tricuspid valve, which will cause problems at the age of around 40. Brett is also deaf in his left ear. He may also have problems with his hip and will receive an x-ray and ultrasound to check on this.
Brett receives regular treatment every week. The Tennessee Early Intervention Service visits the house regularly to check on Brett. The Early Intervention Service is a federally mandated program which focuses on severe delays or diagnosis of mental retardation. A caseworker, who has a master's degree in early childhood education, visits weekly. The Wright family goes to physical therapy every Wednesday at Vanderbilt, and occupational therapy once a month. Twice a year, they have appointments at the Down syndrome clinic. Here they see a speech pathologist, a genetics counselor, a physical therapist, an occupational therapist, and a nutritionist.
The chances of Jeffrey and Cassie having another child with Down syndrome are the same as before, except another 1% because trisomy 21 is not inheritable. Always remember that Down syndrome does not define us, it unites us.